T-shirts, and more. Easy and affordable apparel personalization with no minimums and fast turnaround for all your printing needs. BigFrog.com/Mequon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Kyle Brust-Nortman's Ben Brust here for Grimal and Associates Insurance. They do what anyone with a growing family, like myself, does. Protect what matters most. Grimal and Associates specializes in coverage that's tailored exactly to you. Clients aren't just policies. They're part of their community. Personalized American Family Insurance back service, expert guidance, and genuine commitment. Grimal and Associates focuses on building trusted relationships and providing peace of mind. The same values they've had for over 30 years in the Milwaukee area. Connect with Grimal and Associates at teamgrimal.com.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards. They're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel. It's a glow-up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. Want in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee, alongside former Packer Bryan Bulaga. Here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
The best 60 minutes of your day, the Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. This is the show, first show I've ever done, in which I declare that fireworks are dead. They're done. They're like ice before the refrigerator. Any community that does fireworks, given the ability to have drone fireworks, is reckless. Nobody gets hurt with a drone. They look the same. All they have to do is add the sound so people think they're fireworks. Now, will people still shoot off fire? Of course. But there's no way any organization that's involved can justify fireworks with the ability of what's now with drones. Let's see if Bryan Bulaga, future Packer Hall of Famer, just a question of, a question of when, not if. Do you agree with me on announcing today the end of fireworks?
Ooh. Well, I'm
for a community event, not for people. I mean, you can't. People are always going to shoot them off because.
Yeah, I mean, listen. So here's the thing about for a community event, the drone thing is obviously really cool, but there's a price to that, right? Like, what's more cost effective for a community to do? I guess is my question, right? Setting up a drone event or setting up the fireworks, depending on the size of the township. Obviously, a big city like Milwaukee could do it easily, no problem, right? But what about a town like I grew up in Crystal Lake, Illinois? Probably fireworks are more affordable, would be my guess. But I guess it all depends, right? I mean, drones are cool though, right? Doing that display.
Well, I
would be a lot
don't know
cooler.
the cost. I assume the drones would be as inexpensive, but I don't know like that. Again, it's a question of safety.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're
Safety-wise.
how much? Yeah, how much you're going to pay to know for sure that nobody's going to get hurt ever?
Well,
I guess a drone could fall under. Yeah.
I guess a drone could malfunction, I guess, but I think there's just nostalgia of fireworks, man. I think that's always going to be the thing.
They loved ice for a while. They loved horses when this car came in.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, it's just better. There's, it's just like AI. All right, all AI is statistics. Something that's able to do the greatest compilation of statistics ever. You can't beat it. Now, how you choose to use it is another thing, and the same would be with drones. I don't know all the particulars. All I know is that they'll get to the point where it'd be hard to tell the difference. All you got to do is throw some booms in there. right?
Yeah. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I think eventually you are correct. Eventually that will be overtaken at some point in time, for sure. At some point it will be taken over. Is there any town that you know that does that already for sure right now? Like, is there any official town that does
I
it?
live in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, a suburb of Milwaukee. A strange one because it's kind of in the city. But I believe they're having a drone show today and then maybe fireworks tomorrow. I'm sure. But I mean, we're very early in this process.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's you know.
The technology of it is it's
Right.
new.
Someone's
It's new.
going to go one day. What? You had a rotary phone? What's the point? Well, we had one till they came up with something much better. And, you know, you can create, it's a visual thing. And they've now got a better way to do it. So I just want to announce today the end of fireworks. Doesn't mean they're going to end today, but it will be almost impossible when the price varies for anybody with any risk whatsoever to want to do fireworks when you have an alternative that is significantly less risky. All right, we moved on from that. I didn't want to spend any more time on it than that. I just wanted to be down as July the 3rd. I don't know who did the first radio show when they said the horse is dead, the car will replace the horse, but I'd like to join that group. All right, I did this. I'm embarrassed, but I'll admit I did it. I taped the Brewer game so I could watch soccer.
Oh, nice. What'd you think?
I still think they have these defensive lapses that are terrible, but I thought they played better, and the guy with the weird hair is becoming a star. Right?
Luna. Yeah, Luna.
And I don't know where he came from, what he is, but and then I went back and watched the innings where the Miz or Smoke pitched, and it's just like anybody who throws really fast. He kind of lost control, walked too many people, and then doesn't have any effect on my thinking of how good he is at all. But it's tougher on the road and whatever. So it's one game. We'll see how he reacts, but. I was going back and forth after a while. I just couldn't keep watching the soccer. So this is a violation of 70 years of life. But and it's this fundamentally meaningless tournament that I would guess in most years the U.S. loses to Mexico, right? Or has, or I don't know how often the U.S. has won this event. They get to the finals about every time, right?
They do get to the finals. They've done well in this tournament recently. Recently, they've done well.
So they beat Mexico, or Mexico didn't make it? I don't know.
Or Mexico hasn't been playing well as of late in this tournament. They're obviously playing good right now, so it'll be a good match. Mexico's currently the favorite to win this thing, this final. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The only thing about, and again, I don't want to spend too long on it. The only thing that concerns me about how good the U.S. looked in the first half is that the second half was the exact almost opposite. There was nothing to the second half, and that concerns me a bit.
Yeah, who was it? To me, they're all the same. It's Costa Rica, Guatemala, Ecuador. Anybody who's offended by that, I'm sorry. Canada's different. But yeah, the other team was way more aggressive, and I don't know.
Yeah. They were better in the second half.
The weirdest thing people used to tell me about soccer that I never bought, you just don't want to be ahead 2 goals. That's bad. Like, what? Yeah, when you get ahead 2, you've heard that too?
Oh, yeah. The 2-0 lead is the worst.
I'd always rather be ahead 2 than 1. And they're like, no, it's more complicated than that. And I said, all right, that's another example of soccer that makes no sense. Like, you're ahead 2 touchdowns instead of 1 in football. No, and that's worse. So no one would say that. That's crazy. But
yeah. That's the old adage in soccer is the 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead because they claim that when you're up 2 goals, the teams seem to let off the gas a little bit because there's a false sense of security at 2-0, right? There's a false sense of security at 2-0, and goals can happen so quick, even though not a lot of games are high scoring. A team can score 2 goals super quick, and then it's a tie ball game, and anything can happen at that point. So yeah, I mean, you were really hoping, or I was hoping, that the United States would have put the third in early in the second half, and then that would have been smooth sailing, and it just never happened. And Guatemala played really well.
Well, I just want to let you know, even though you are Bryan Bulaga, I think it's as crazy and weird to say it, for you to say it, as anybody else. Because that's what they're all saying this. Oh, so you'd rather be ahead 1-0 because you play that much differently 2-0. Well, I'm a coach. I'm not going to let it happen. I'll do whatever I have to do to keep the team from playing so conservative. Or maybe you should play conservative, because somebody can look up the numbers. Let's get AI. I think a soccer team, when they lead, I don't know, if they lead by 2 goals, they win way more often than when they lead by 1.
I mean, I'm
way
sure
more often.
I'm sure the statistics are there, but it's some, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
if
made
it's a
up that
superstition.
soccer people get to say, because nobody really studies the damn sport well enough to go, look it, you just got to stop saying this, because it ain't true. A baseball team, you get up 2 runs, now we've got trouble. Basketball team, we're in trouble. Football, people would laugh at it. In soccer, it exists. So I want it to be tested for somebody in the institute there, how much better your chances are of winning a game when you're ahead 2 goals in soccer versus 1.
I mean, that would
Right?
be a good stat.
That's what we're saying.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's probably, I mean, you're probably right. I mean, it's probably a better chance, but I don't know what it is. It's just like that superstition. I don't know why.
Yeah. And no one knows what the norm is, like what it should be versus what it is. So maybe it does have some effect. I will defer to the Institute. You can go on Twitter, the percentage chance, because they have all that now in terms of at any point in the game, you know, what your percentage is of winning. They've got all those stats now. Jason Wilde coming up in a minute or two. He's amazing. He's not doing his show, but he's still coming on this show. He was on the last show as well. That's crazier than saying you're better off to be up 1 goal than 2 in soccer. Like, explain to me, Bryan, how you don't do your show, but you do other shows. If I'm not doing my show, I'm not doing any show, because my show is the most important thing I do, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing all that other piddly stuff.
I think it's just his dedication, man. He's got dedication. I mean, that's Jason Wilde.
Why doesn't he have dedication to his own show then?
Well, I mean, what is this show? Was it 3 hours? I mean, it's just
3 hours.
Yeah,
this is
3
15
hours.
minutes.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess it's a different time commitment, I guess, and I don't know what he's got going on. He's on assignment somewhere, I'm sure.
Yes, he is. Yeah. All right. Well, that part it is less time, but you know this. It does limit you to some degree, even if it's short. If you know you have to do it versus what you can do just doing it whatever you want to do all day, because you have the day off.
It's true. That is true. That is true.
Oh, Jason Wilde, he takes the day off and still works. By definition, Ryan, that's not taking the day off, right?
No, that's working. That's working.
All right.
That's
technically, yes. And they have the big Packers show here at Summerfest where they talk about the Packers. And
he has his list of 20 most important Packers that he's dropping daily. So we get to ask him about that.
I don't care what he says. I can tell you who the most important Packer is.
Who is it?
Well, I mean, it's Jordan Love in terms of, but the most important Packer for the team to reach a level is Cooper. If Cooper doesn't become special, then there's a limit to how good they can be. And I don't know who else you could pick on the team where you think the possibility of being special, that to this point isn't special, and that changes everything in terms of how you'd have to play the Packers against that defense if he becomes special, right?
Well, yeah.
You guys address that.
Yeah, we could certainly talk about that because that. Yeah.
And other players might be better, but I don't know if you were going to guess on the team. I mean, even Jordan Love can't elevate that much because we saw how great he could be the last 8 games 2 years ago, right? We've seen it. I guess we've seen it from Cooper a little bit, maybe the same way. We saw it a few games last year when he was Defensive Player of the Week.
I think from Jordan Love, I think it's seeing a level of consistency for, that same level that we saw in the 8 games. I think it would be for, 12 to 14 games straight, right? Like, I think you're seeing a more consistent straight through level, right? Like, I mean, everyone's going to have a little dip here and there, right? I mean, I think that's normal through an NFL season. But more of a like straight through consistency, I think that raises the level of the team in general, right? If you see his play of 8 games that he had 2 seasons ago, and that goes for 12 to 14 games, how does that season look then, right? Like, I mean, it looks tremendously different.
I can ask you because you lived it. You lived it. Aaron Rodgers was like that. If I'd have been in the offensive line, I'd walk out there going, I don't know anything, but I know one thing. We can score on anybody with this guy. Doesn't mean we will, but every time I walked out on the field, I would have felt that we were better than the defense that we were playing because of the guy, how good the guy quarterback could play. Did you ever have that thought?
Every time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You essentially said it. That's exactly how we felt with Aaron, and that's how this offense would feel if Jordan Love plays that way, right? Like, I mean, we've seen that, like you said, we've seen he can do it. Everyone knows he can do it. If he raises it to that level, that's how this offense is going to feel. Like, that's how they're going to feel when they when they go out there every single time. They're going to go, oh, yeah, we're going to score. No matter what, we're getting 3. It's just, do we get 7? And then do we do it every single time?
But when you played with Aaron Rodgers, he had games in which he wasn't that good, right?
Yeah, there's always games. There's always
and
games
you just thought, no big deal. Let's go. We'll play again next Sunday. Bring them on.
Yeah, absolutely. There was never like a, oh my gosh, what was that? Well, I mean, panic. There was never any of that. It was just, all right, well, that's a one-off. We'll move on.
We're not there yet with Jordan Love. All these great questions for Jason Wilde. It'll be the Doctor of Football, Bryan Bulaga, and the Professor, Jason Wilde, together. And I listen next.
ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Things are looking okay on 41 southbound. We've got from Appleton Avenue all the way down to about Hampton, where we're going to see those delays. Beyond that, looks pretty good down to the zoo. Northbound, you're looking at delays from Watertown Plank Road all the way up past Capitol Drive. Southbound 43, a little bit tight right past Silver Spring. Northbound is going to be slow from just before Capitol Drive up to about Bender Road. And then on northbound 4394, backing up right around the Plainfield curve all the way up towards the KK River. Traffic is brought to you by Third Ward Beer Garden. Experience Milwaukee's favorite beer garden this summer. Open Wednesday through Sunday with live music Thursday through Saturday. Good times and great vibes await at Third Ward Beer Garden. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Isolated showers or storms, partly cloudy skies, otherwise a low of 68. Tomorrow, hot and humid. Morning chance for showers or storms. Afternoon actually looks mainly dry. A high of 90. Weather is brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Laziga on 94.5.
Favre, Rodgers, Love, great player, great player, great player. If you're in the crowd that believes he is going to be on par with those other two, then this is a pivotal year for him to show that he is capable of doing that.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
There's a difference between we can win with him and we win because of him.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Chris Canty.
If the Lakers are insistent that they're not moving off of Austin Reeves and that he's going to be the co-star for Luka Doncic long term, then I don't know that this Lakers team around LeBron and Luka can get good enough to challenge the other powers in the Western Conference. I just don't see a world in which that exists. The Lakers have too many team needs, right? They've got to address the center position in a major way, and they're going to have to figure out how they're going to get more on-ball defenders. Their perimeter defense right now is trash bags. I struggle to see a world in which the Lakers can get good enough around LeBron and Luka to contend for a championship. I don't see how that happens, and I don't know how they get remotely close if they wouldn't be willing to include Austin Reeves in some type of package to bring over another all-star caliber player.
Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
This is the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
I fell for the devil's daughter. I jumped in, yeah, I drank the water. Tell me, doctor, can you fix my brain?
The Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. I am at Summerfest right near the Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone. I think they even have pickleball this year. And, of course, food is given to us by Major Goolsby's. I'll have the world-famous Major Goolsby's Major Cheeseburger soon. Right now, the best segment of the Homer Hour on Thursday, the doctor of football, Bryan Bulaga, because he's so nice, gets to introduce Jason Wilde, and they talk Packers like no other twosome on the planet. Doc, it's all yours.
Jason, good evening. How are you doing? We appreciate you taking time from your day off, technically, to join us.
Happy to do it, and this is the best segment of the Homer Hour of the entire week, not just the Thursday show.
Yeah!
So, Jason, we all know you got your list of 20 most important Packers. You might have announced it today, or we're talking about it at KPN. Obviously, I don't know if our listeners heard it or if you talked about it or not. Who is on the list today of your top 20 most important today that you revealed today?
Well, so far, we are 3 players in. We started obviously at number 20, which and by the way, I'm going to admit I am clearly cheating. Brian, you know this because you're one of the people who I sought your opinion, but we'll get to a few that we're going to double up on. There's going to be 2 names listed in one spot, which we all can agree is cheating. but they're connected in some way, whether it's the left tackle competition or whether it's a couple of wide receivers that are in contract years, or if it's two former first-round picks on the defensive side of the ball. I paired a few people up because I think they make sense to have a conversation about. But Luke Musgrave was number 20. Matthew Golden was number 19. And Evan Williams was number 18. And so far, a little bit of the feedback is Matthew Golden is too low. But then I thought, that Bryan Bulaga guy played with a lot of really good wide receivers during his time with the Packers. And he knows as well as anyone how hard it is for those guys as rookies, even ones that are high picks in the first, second, or third round, how hard it is for them to really hit the ground running. So with the group that they have, with the rookie status for Matthew Golden, I think he's going to produce for them. But I'm not sure that I would take a bet that says he's going to be their number one wide receiver in terms of yards or receptions or touchdowns by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think where you have Golden at 19, I think that's completely fair in my opinion. Like, and people may say it's too low, but that's okay. Everyone, that's what the list is for. It's for debate. But the room it's got a lot of guys in it, right? I mean, and there's a lot of guys that have a lot to prove, and they're veteran players, and those guys are going to get a lot of reps, and they're going to get a lot of balls thrown to them by Jordan Love, and they're going to get a lot of the snaps. And I'm not saying that Golden's not going to get a lot of snaps. He's going to, but he's going to have to find his way in this offense early on. He's going to have to build the trust of Jordan Love and kind of find his rhythm in this offense. And LaFleur's going to have to find where he fits best within the scheme and certain plays and routes and packages, and he's going to need time to adjust, and that's okay. Every rookie does. And like you said, I've been around a lot of guys that are really high-level receivers, and normally, I mean, at least I hadn't seen it. Not many rookies just took off running at the wide receiver position. It takes a little bit of time, and I'm not saying that he can't. But with the room the way it's set up, with the guys that are in there, I just think that there's a lot of targets in there, especially with the tight end room as well. There's a lot of balls to be caught in there as well. I think he's ranked appropriately, but that doesn't mean he can't have a great year. But I think where he's at is fine, and I think he's going to be a really good player. It's just I don't think there's any need for people to get out of shape that he may not be the outright number one right away for the team right now.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the tight end piece of this too, because I think Matt LaFleur and Steno and the whole crew there, I also think they really want to have even more tight end involvement. That's why I put Luke Musgrave at 20. He obviously has had some flashes of really good production, but he's had more injuries than he's had flashes of productivity. But I think they really do want to have a lot of 12 personnel, which obviously you know what that is, but maybe some of our fans don't. That's one back, two tight ends, two receivers. And if you're going to have a lot of plays in your repertoire with two tight ends on the field, that's that many more plays or that fewer plays for them to have three wide receivers on the field. And so do I think Matthew Golden's going to play a ton of football for them this year? I absolutely do. But if you want to get that many tight ends involved and you want to get that many wide receivers involved, that's a lot of guys that you're trying to get not just the football to, but just get on the field.
Absolutely. So what with your next revealing in Williams, what's kind of your expectation for him this year, and what role do you see? I mean, obviously we all know he's a good football player. We know he's high level. Kind of obviously, I think he's going to take it the next step. I think he's going to make, that second-year leap that McCarthy always used to talk about, that everyone, when I was playing, that was kind of the big deal, right? The second-year leap that he always wanted to see year 1 to year 2. I expect him to take that leap. Is that kind of what you think from him? Do you think he's going to get an expanded role, be a full-timer like kind of McKinney is? Is that kind of what you expect out of him?
I do, and part of that is really what I thought was interesting from Matt LaFleur that I wrote about on Channel 3000 is the fact that when Matt LaFleur was asked, what he needs to do this season to go to the next level, what he said about Evan Williams was that he has to figure out how to take care of his body. I mean, it wasn't anything about the way he plays or his football IQ or any of those things. It was basically just stay healthy. He missed the last 3 regular season games with a quadriceps injury. He missed another game earlier in the year with a hamstring injury. And even though he was, and I've made this comp before, and obviously, I don't know if you guys actually overlapped at Iowa, but I know you overlapped, obviously, with the Packers. Evan Williams reminds me so much of Micah Hyde, and not just because they wear the same number. And it turned out, when I talked to Evan about it last year, Evan said, yeah, he's one of the guys whose film I would watch all the time because I wanted to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you think back to his style of play, Micah was a really smart. He always would be. The coaches would always say he's just a football player, which I always thought was a really, really cool compliment, right? Because that means you're not the fastest guy, you're not the biggest guy, but you darn well find a way to get the job done. And I think it's said with such respectfulness. And I think Evan Williams fits that mold. And so, I think what they really would like, they do have other safeties. They like Javon Bullard's flexibility. They like Catano Ladapo, although he's more of a special teams guy. Heck, they even had Zane Anderson start a game last year next to McKinney, and he played really well. Another special teams foremost guy. But I think they would love to have that pairing of Williams and X for all 17 games. And one of the reasons is that Evan Williams' IQ is so high that it really allows them to use those guys interchangeably. And I didn't get into this because these are supposed to be kind of shorter vignettes. But I think one of the reasons why that's so important is because I think you saw during the second half of last season, after McKinney had like a pick in 6 games in a row, that teams were able to avoid him. And so if they're able to do things late in the play clock to alter what they're doing in the back end so the offense thinks McKinney's going to be in one spot and he's actually going to be in another at the time of the snap, that will also allow McKinney to have a greater impact. So I think that's one of the reasons why I think Evan is a crucial piece. But again, this is why I sent this to you and Tausch and Brad Nortman and a few other of our teammates because I'll be honest with you, the guy I'm doing that I'm writing today that'll be revealed tomorrow morning was not on my initial list, and I was wrong to not include him when I stopped and thought about some of the arguments from a few of the folks that I kind of relied on. So it's not I just want to be clear. This is one list. We all do lists at this time of year, but I think it's a really good vehicle for conversation. And I know that other shows have used it to start conversations today and the last several days as well. And I really do want to spur those conversations. And spoiler alert, I really think it's probably going to spur some conversations when I get to number 2 versus number 1.
Because I know the list, I think so too. But if you were to look at, because Homer and I brought this up too, do you and obviously this isn't even about your list, but Homer brought it up about the importance of of Cooper, because we were just talking about just the list and I'm not asking you to say where Cooper is on your list. I know that's
he damn well better be top 5.
He's
okay.
high.
Yeah.
He's very high.
But we were just talking about it, and do you think that if, say, regardless of if whoever is your number one, whether it is Love or it doesn't matter who it is, do you think that Cooper, him being probably, might be the most important guy on that defense, regardless of whether he's the most important Packer player or not in his development as a player this offseason?
Yeah, I think I don't think there's any question he's an important piece. Absolutely, positively. I don't know. I don't know what I should expect from him in terms of, will there be a colossal year 2 jump? Because if there is, because he played so well as a rookie, is that going to mean that we're talking about a guy who's like an all-pro candidate? Or, is he going to, and again, I'm not saying that teams are going to be game planning just to make sure they know where 56 is every snap. But he's kind of, from what he did last year, he's kind of in that kind of mold that you better know where he is. I'm curious to see how they're going to use him. Is he going to get to rush the quarterback more? But he is such a unicorn type athlete in terms of he can run stride for stride with a wide receiver. He can attack in a pass rush setting. At the same time, I do think, and then one of the reasons why they didn't play him as much as maybe Homer would have liked them to have played him last year, is that he did struggle with assignments and he did make mistakes there. And so if he's able to, and if they're able to schematically cover that up, or he's doing less thinking, that would obviously help him be a colossal impact player. But I still, as good of a player as he is, I still think the edge rushers are so vital to their success. They're playing a bunch of really good quarterbacks who have really good wide receivers at their disposal. They just have to do a better job of creating pressure without having to use blitzes. And obviously, if they're using Cooper as a traditional linebacker and they're sending him as a blitzer, and they're not dropping people out, then there's gonna be some vulnerability there if he gets picked up. So I'm really curious to see, and this is more the overarching thought I have about this team, is, I think Jeff Hafley's a damn good coach. And I'm really eager, after what they were able to do in year 1, being top 10 in both yards and scoring defense, against a more challenging schedule, can they replicate and improve upon that? And for that to happen, certainly Cooper's got to keep playing well. Certainly, Xavier McKinney's got to play well. But again, the reason why this is more of an important list as opposed to best player list, there's no question that Edger and Cooper, if we did best player, is a top 5. But in terms of importance, they need those 3 corners to not stink. They don't have that stud corner, and they need both Lucas Van Ness and especially Rashawn Gary to be way more productive than they have been as 2 top 13 first-round picks. And so those guys' importance, I think of it as, how important is it that this guy plays well? And I'm not saying that Isaiah Simmons, for example, could walk in and do the same job of a Quay Walker or of an Edger and Cooper. I'm not saying that, but there was a reason why that dude was the 8th overall pick a few years ago. So maybe the way they run their scheme, maybe it's more about, those linebackers can be productive, but they need those other guys to make much greater impacts than they did last year if they're going to be a better defense this year.
Jason, we have just about run out of time. The ability of those pass rushers and cornerbacks to be better will be based more on the greatness of Cooper than their own ability. And if he's not second team All-Pro, I will be disappointed. I won't be sad. Great players, did Clay Matthews make the other players on the team better at their position because of the defense having to deal with him? Of course.
Yeah, I understand that Cooper's your guy. Not to be confused with that guy that they had, that linebacker that you famously said, I love everything about him, but I don't know anything about him.
I never once put him at the level of Cooper. Cooper was what, defensive player of the week, what, twice last year?
Twice.
First of all, they didn't put him on the field. The only person who shut him down last year was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, you definitely never put him at the same level as you put Cooper. But I feel like Cooper is your guy. Like you have planted your flag on Cooper
What did
Hill.
your eyes show you?
I think he's good. I don't know if you're getting his Hall of Fame bust ready though, and I think that's a little premature.
No, I'm not. But you talk about he doesn't know plays. He doesn't know plays. Quay Walker, we don't even know where he goes half the time, and you bringing that up about Cooper.
Will he be a Packers Hall of Famer? That's what you always like to have.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
You mean Bulaga? That's who you're asking about, right?
No, I'm talking about Cooper. Bulaga.
Yes, I believe Cooper will be a Packer Hall of Famer, yes. I don't think I've ever missed on a Packer Hall of Famer. I'll have to check.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Do you?
Take care.
Hold on. Look, I answer. Jason, do you think he'll be a Packer Hall of Famer?
They would have to pay him a second contract, and
I'll take that as a no.
I'm still not sure who gets those these days. I want another year of really good production.
What is that? A yes or a no? What?
That's an I don't know. Of course, that's what you're going to get from me. I don't know.
Bryan Bulaga, what's your answer?
I have no idea. I mean, you can't answer that question after like he didn't even play a full year, so like I can't answer that yet.
Hey, let's check to see how many players. Was he Defensive Player of the Week twice, right?
Yes,
he was.
All right, let's check to see how many Packers as a rookie were Defensive Player of the Week twice. I'll bet the odds of them going into the Packer Hall of Fame is pretty good.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
My guy, Blue. Love you, Blue.
Bye. Thanks, Jason.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
Yeah, he thinks my nicknames are horrible, so they're not even nicknames, he said, so he's going to make reference. How many people call you Blue? Lots?
It's mostly Tausch. Jason will every now and again. Yeah, I mean, Jesse. Mostly the Madison crew. Mostly
players on the
crew.
team when you played for the Packers, did anybody call you Blue?
Yes, they did, yeah. Because Tausch started that.
Was there a reason why?
Like from Blue, like Blue Pulaski from Old School.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
We'll get an additional discussion. And the Institute, go to work. Packer rookie defensive players that in their rookie year were two-time Defensive Player of the Week. And how many, and he didn't even play every game, right? There were games in which he had no chance, right?
Yeah.
He didn't play enough. All right. Next quarter. Won't be as good, I'll admit it. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Bit of a backup on northbound 4394 coming through the Mitchell interchange all the way up around the Plainfield curve to about the KK River crossing. Southbound side's clear. Northbound 43 a little bit slow from Capitol Drive up towards Silver Spring. Southbound slowing down from Bender Road down past Silver Spring. And then eastbound 94 you got some backups from before 84th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange to about 27th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, isolated showers or storms, partly cloudy otherwise, a low of 68. Tomorrow, hot and humid in the morning, chance of showers or storms. Then the afternoon looks mainly dry, a high of 90. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Kyle Brust and Nortman's Brad Nortman here. It's the Tsunami Express Car Wash 4th of July Sale Spectacular. Get 50% off any car wash now through July 6th. That's a long-lasting clean starting at just $5. And with free vacuums, mat cleaners, and detailing tools, we make it easy to reset your ride inside and out. No stress, no mess. Just a fresh, satisfying clean that fits right into your summer plans. Again, that's 50% off any car wash. Only through July 6th at Tsunami Express. Find your nearest location at tsunamiexpress.com.
Hey, Jen Latta here, and as a client of the We Sell Group, I can tell you firsthand, Rob and Nick make the home buying and selling process easier. Right now, school's out, and that means it's the perfect time to list your home. The market is challenging and inventory is tight, but you don't have to face it alone. Rob and Nick are pros. They take the stress off your plate so you can focus on your family, your summer, and just breathe. Contact Rob and Nick to see what your home might be worth in this market. Connect today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
Is that knee, hip, or shoulder pain not getting any better? Maybe you're stuck in a cycle of steroid shots and now talking about surgery. Well, before you head down that road, you need to check out my friends at QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about how QC Kinetics is revolutionizing medicine with their regenerative and cellular treatments. Using their advanced cellular therapy, QC Kinetics is helping your body heal itself. And don't just take my word for it. The results from their patients is off the charts. 92% of patients report satisfaction with their results. In fact, most people that come in for their free consultation ask if they can just start right away. It doesn't cost a thing for that second opinion with QC Kinetics. You owe it to yourself to live a pain-free life, and you owe it to yourself to check out QC Kinetics. The results could be life-changing. Call QC Kinetics today at 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouth-watering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Don't you love it? Don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet. But I'm way less sad.
The Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. I'm at Summerfest. Gruber Law Office's Sports Zone right near is fantastic. And, of course, everybody enjoying the fantastic food at Major Goolsby's. Yes, the Major Cheeseburger. I got it every day that I'm here. Now to Bryan Bulaga and his great partner.
That's right. I'm here for my friends at Surfside. Summer's heating up, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside iced tea and vodka or Surfside lemonade vodka to break the heat. We all know what it is tomorrow, America's birthday, 4th of July, and let me tell you, there would be nothing better than to enjoy a Surfside. Whether you're by the pool, with your friends, barbecuing, doing whatever, there is nothing better than a Surfside. Let me tell you, it is the best thing to enjoy than having a ice cold Surfside by your side. Listen, made with real brewed tea and real vodka, Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy no matter what your plans are this weekend. Look for the can with the sunset stripes. Sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Bryan Bulaga, the Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. It's best with Jason Wilde, but, you know, he has things he has to do on his day off. All right, let's address your offense against teams with an outstanding player. You pick who they want, because I'm basically saying the odds of some of these people Jason's talking about playing better is more likely to occur because of the increased greatness of Cooper than their own ability. Maybe that doesn't happen. Name a great defensive player you played against on some other team and how it affected what you did or whether or not it made other players on that defense better because of that great player.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I'll give you a perfect example because of how it relates back to the Green Bay Packers. Julius Peppers, when he was on the Bears, we had a protection, and we called it Pep Jet. So wherever Julius lined up, we slid the protection to Julius, and the tight end would thump or chip Julius on his way out. So we would break the huddle, and whether Julius was lined up on the left or the right is where we would slide the protection to. So there was no protection in the huddle called besides Pep Jet, and then Aaron would call the routes, and we would walk up to the line and base that protection off where Julius was. And what that would do for, obviously, the defense, that would free up the other guys up front on that defensive line. They got one-on-one matchups. And guys knew if you were away from Julius, right, if you were the two linemen away from Julius, which a lot of the time was myself and TJ, because Julius lined up over the left tackle a lot, you were one-on-one with your D end. So you knew you were going to be on an island quite a bit. And that was going to be the matchup pretty much all day, was you and your D end and the guard and his D tackle one-on-one. And then what also that created was potentially for the running back, if there was a pressure, that he would be one-on-one with that, whether it was a linebacker or a safety, that he would have to be one-on-one with those guys because the center wouldn't be able to peel off and help. He would be sliding to that side with the linebacker to that side of the ball. And it was just, that's the way it was going to go because of how dominant of a rusher Julius was, and you had to account for him.
So am I accurate in saying this, or am I overstating it making other players better? Is it you never stopped Julius Peppers because he was so good, or you at some point or somebody went, this guy's just not that good, but we got to take our chances because of Julius Peppers?
Well, I mean, you didn't want a certain guy to wreck the game. Now, we didn't run that protection every single time. That wasn't something we ran the entire game. It was only in certain moments of the game. And you did that in certain moments because you didn't want a certain guy to wreck the game. But what that would do, because of how good Julius was, you knew when you had to take care of him, that would give the other guys golden opportunities to make plays. You were taking a risk that the other guys then would be freed up one-on-one, and it gave other guys great opportunities to make plays. And that's kind of where I'm agreeing with you on, is that a great player can give other guys one-on-one opportunities and put them in great situations to make plays. And that's kind of what a Cooper can do. And now, based on the linebacker position alone, it's a little bit interesting because depending on what he's asked to do, now if he's rushing the passer or if he's in coverage, in the run game he can be an issue because, when you're IDing linebackers and guards and things like that have to climb to linebackers, and you're accounting for a guy like that in the run game, the guards feel like they got to get up to him quick. So the double teams aren't going to be as firm, and the D tackles can break through the line of scrimmage quicker, which then you don't get as solid as a double team with the two linemen, and penetration happens, and that's an advantage for the guys up front because they're so worried about getting up to linebacker level, which is an issue for obviously the run game. So there's things that a great linebacker can do that affects the run game, and obviously a quarterback, because Cooper is effective in the pass game as well because he's rangy. He can intercept passes. He can break passes up. He can guard tight ends. He can do things like that. Quarterbacks are also worried about him in coverage. So quarterbacks double think about where he is in coverage, things like that. So a guy like that, yes, he can affect multiple levels of the game in the run and the pass. And obviously if he rushes the passer, running backs don't want to block him, right? They want the lineman to account for him. So then when you want the offensive line to account for a certain linebacker, that then puts a lot of different tools in the defensive coordinator's bag of who he can pressure. And once they figure out that they're accounting for a certain linebacker in protection, and now they can put different guys on the back and really start mixing up the pressure schemes and really start messing with an offense, which is great. So, yes, Cooper can have a massive impact for this defense if he plays the way he did last year. And I wanted to say this to Jason, but we got going. When you can have all pro players or Pro Bowl caliber players at all three levels of your defense. So, you know, you got McKinney on the back end. If you can get Cooper to play at that level, at the linebacker level, and if we can get Rashawn Gary or Kenny Clark or one of those guys to raise their level of play, to play at that level, you have an issue on defense, right? Because then you have guys playing at that level on defense where you have an all-pro caliber guy at every level. That reminds me of like when we would play Seattle. That was the issue. You had those guys at Seattle that you had Bennett and Averill, then you had Bobby Wagner, and then you had that Legion of Boom in the back, and you had all-pro guys at every level that you had to account for, and it's a mess because you always have to be aware of where these guys are. And Green Bay can have that. They have the talent to do it, but guys have to step up and show that they can do it. And I know they have the guys. They just have to play to that level.
The fourth quarter. We're so far behind, I may have to do it alone. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hey, it's Alex Stroh. What are the expectations for Jordan Love in year 3 as the starter for the Green Bay Packers? What will the Packers' new-look defense look like? And what are reasonable expectations for the Packers' record in 2025? We'll explore all of those questions on our annual State of the Packers show, Saturday, July 5th, live from Summerfest. Join me, Gabe Neitzel, and Jason Wilde from noon until 3 as we take a deep dive into the 2025 Green Bay team. It's State of the Packers beginning at noon, July 5th, right here on ESPN Milwaukee.
Hey, ESPN Milwaukee fans, Bryan Bulaga here for Surfside. Summer is heating up, and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside iced tea and vodka or Surfside lemonade and vodka to break the heat. Made with real brewed tea and real vodka, Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy no matter what your plans are this weekend. Look for the can with the sunset stripes, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
It can't be, right? This is not going to be it for LeBron James. Maybe in his last year as a Los Angeles Laker, or maybe the Los Angeles Lakers move on from him before next season. It's not going to happen. That doesn't mean that LeBron James has all the power of church and state when it comes to organization that he has so loved ever since he got there and left the Cleveland Cavaliers the second time he joined that team to join the Los Angeles Lakers. There's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Mark Walter, in charge of the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, that same Mark Walter who's in charge of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and you see where they are ever since he took over 2 world championships at the year 2020. He is not about to take over a fair to Midland Lakers team and have a guy in LeBron James dictating exactly what's going to be done regarding him at the expense of the Lakers. Not that it's been done like that before, but it ain't going to be done like that now. So if you're LeBron James, you decide to opt into your contract. That may be the best thing for you. That does not mean it's going to be the best thing this year or next for the Los Angeles Lakers. In 60 seconds, Ace Bailey, welcome to Utah, I think.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Well, he's there with the Utah Jazz. The he I'm talking about, of course, is Ace Bailey. That seemed so last week when he didn't want to be there. His facial expression gave it away that, man, oh, man, I can't believe the Utah Jazz took me at number 5. I don't want to do that. Or apparently whatever adults were in the room, maybe even Ace Bailey, got next to Ace Bailey to say, look, you get a chance to play in the NBA. You're the 5th pick in the draft. You're about to have a lot of dreams come true, and this is the beginning of it. Why'd you want to try to have that dream deferred in the minds of people in Utah or NBA fans all around the globe? So Ace Bailey, he did the right thing. You have to be there. They drafted you, and you have a chance to set your career in motion and give it all the things that happened last week that could have affected those when it comes to the start of your NBA career. But now, Ace Bailey, this is when it really gets rough because a lot of people are going to be paying more attention to you, and plenty of that has nothing to do with how you can play the game of basketball. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour is all but over. I want to mention about Fisco Auto Body. I tell you to go there because it's a great place. On Forest Home in Franklin, Fisco Auto Body and Forest Home in Franklin. How do they be that good? It's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. Imagine how many years they're still in the family, still doing. Imagine how young they were when they started. That's how they're that good. Expert workmanship, guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. You got your auto body place. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco, to remember the name. He's now our specialist in all forms of football, so Bryan Bulaga's last comment will be his score for the USA versus Mexico on Sunday. Take it away.
Ooh, I think it'll be 2-2 at the end of regulation, and I think the U.S. will win in penalties, is how I think it'll go.
Duly noted. Bryan Bulaga, unlike Jason Wilde, will actually make a prediction. Penalty kicks, U.S. over Mexico. Bryan Bulaga handles all kind of football. National next. Thanks to everybody here at Summerfest. Major Goolsby's, Gruber Law Offices, Sports Zone. Man, Major Goolsby's food is good. Next.
You do it right.
We finish off with an accident on 4394 heading northbound, just north of Beecher Street. It's off on the right shoulder, so watch out for that. Delays